Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good evening from Beijing. On behalf of Qinger Education Foundation, welcome to this parallel forum of UN Women's 67th section of the Commission on the Status of Women. The theme today is Ending AIDS through Innovation in the Digital Age. I'm Han Zhou. I'm the Director International Exchange of Qinger Education Foundation and Beijing Mingyuan Education Institute, and Vice Secretary General of Future Education Professional Committee of China International Exchange Center. I'm honored to be the moderator today. Before the talks, let's first look at a short video about Qinger Education Foundation.
Promote women's role in sustainable development. Chinese NGOs must take international responsibilities. As the Chinese non-governmental organization in special consultative status of the UN Economic and Social Council, Beijing Qinger Education Foundation is committed to AIDS prevention and control education for adolescents and public welfare undertakings for women and children. Qinger projects cover 28 provinces and cities in China, with a total of 30 million beneficiaries, of which 60% are girls and women who got access to fair education and development opportunities, with established contacts with many international organizations such as UNAIDS, UNESCO, and many institutions in China from developing countries. Together, we share experience, train personnel, provide funding, jointly promote the protection of the rights and interests of women and children, enhance the role of women in sustainable development. We hope to join more global forces to achieve the UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals as scheduled and create a better future for women around the world.
Thank you. For tens of years, AIDS has been endangering human life worldwide. Despite the relatively mature treatment methods and effective medicines, the infection rate and mortality rate remain high. The COVID-19 pandemic and the Ukraine war in the past years have seriously affected the global economy and the allocation of resources. The funds used for AIDS prevention and control has been largely diverted, and people's attentions has been greatly distracted, which makes the already challenging goal of ending AIDS by 2030 even further away. Pessimists even believe that the realization of this goal will be delayed for 10 years. However, new technologies and innovations may bring us new opportunities. Whether we can bring innovation into play, make full use of information technology, and develop more effective AIDS prevention and treatment methods is the key to human beings' early victory over AIDS and improve their viability. Today, we are honored to invite people from all walks of life who are committed to ending AIDS. Let's listen to their views. Our first speaker is Madame Marito Cabo, or affectionately known as Black Pearl Maria. She is a singer, actress, Miss World 2009 double champion. She is also the Goodwill Ambassador of Qinger Education Foundation, the founder of Sierra Leone China Friendship Federation, the China-Africa Love Ambassador, and the China-Africa Cultural Exchange Ambassador. Maria, the floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It's my great pleasure to join you all here today. My topic is how I spend time and learn about the kids living with HIV. When I heard about this important event, it immediately took me back to the time that I spent with the Beijing Changjie Education Foundation at the Shanxi Langfang Hong Sidai School. As a foundation ambassador, Goodwill Ambassador, I was lucky enough to spend over a week with these wonderful, lovely kids and the great staff who look after them so well. The joy I saw on those faces and their excitement to sing and dance was nothing unusual, and that was my main learning. Although HIV positive, they are all just the same as all the other kids that I visit on my role as a cultural ambassador. Knowing this, I feel we all have a long way to go before we are educated to fully integrate them into society. And that is why the First Lady of China's efforts to bring attention to improve the lives and realize the hope of those young people are so important. In fact, the first picture I saw at the entrance of the school was Mama Peng playing with these wonderful kids in the garden. This inspired me to share my own talent and to encourage them to be the best they can in the world. My feeling of wanted to help more was when I made a strong feeling with spending the time with the head, Mana Jiang Xinyu, Jiang Yinjie, and the team that raised money and donations. I would like to applaud Beijing Changyi Educational for all the great work, bringing hope to those communities and embrace the spirit of the First Lady. In particular, I was very impressed by the schools, focusing on educating the kids to play a very full part in the society, not just as a citizen or an active citizen, but also as a valid employees. Since my visit, I kept in touch with the school and make sure to send my own little contribution each year. If we all adopted such a school, can you imagine how much this can impact on their development? Of course, the need for medical care is fundamental, really fundamental. But let's just take this time to focus on mental well-being. Let's embrace the First Lady, empathy, and the love to bring ourselves closer to all those who need our support and love. In Sierra Leone, I've been provided my own little support to encourage the kids not to be left out in the society. I hope everyone have the same thinking and to open their heart to those young people. I want to thank all the ladies, all the women around the world. There is a Chinese opera song that talks about the role of a woman called "Who Said Women Are Not as Good as Men?" I quote in Chinese, "谁说女子不如男?" This is how it goes. I'm going to do just 2 paragraphs of this song for you guys. 留他搁浅的火，离他一边，谁说女子? Thank you very much, and I hope you all the best. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so very much indeed, Maria. Your experience in Shanxi Lingfen Red Ribbon School is shared with almost all the people who have been there. In that school, they saw and felt that people, including the First Lady of China, Madame Tong, are working hard to bring hope to the vulnerable communities, and they would like to do the same, just as Maria. Next, I will give the floor to Jessica Lee. She is a high school student from US and a Qing'er International volunteer. From 2020 to now, she invested herself into improving AIDS education and helped to proliferate this idea through social media. Let's hear what she wants to share with us. Jessica, please.
Hello, everyone. 2 years ago, I was a representative participant. Last year, I was only an audience member. And this year, I'm a speaker for this parallel event. Because I've learned the central idea from the previous conferences, translated it into motivation, and contributed to this weighty cause, I am honored to share my conception today. During these UN Women conferences, I was profoundly impressed by the powerful speeches of the many female leaders on the world who advocate for the advancement of women and promote gender equality. These inspirational speakers encouraged me to provide assistance to women in marginalized countries, where women and children have a lack of opportunity for advancement. The HIV and AIDS epidemic is one of the most crucial issues around the world, which prompted me to focus my learning and action in this particular area. According to UNAIDS data, by the end of 2018, approximately 1.25 million people in China were living with HIV and AIDS. 2019 data showed 135,000 cases added. In fact, by 2021, about 4.27 out of 100,000 people in China have a confirmed AIDS infection. The disease commonly results from a lack of education awareness, prostitution, drug use, and blood donation. According to research in 2019, the HIV infection epidemic has evolved significantly in China over the past 3 decades. Initially, HIV cases were found exclusively within people who use injectable drugs. In the 1990s, some cases began to arise through the contamination of plasma collection. And now, cases derive primarily from sexual contact. The number of diagnostic cases of HIV and AIDS has increased year by year since 2004. Moreover, the geographic distribution of HIV cases varies significantly across China. The beginning stage of the epidemic primarily centered in southwestern and western China, regions that have been historically considered more rural than eastern China. Then, due to the increase in unregulated drug use and unsafe sexual behaviors, the disease began to proliferate throughout the country. However, the largest number of infections continue to concentrate in southwestern and southern China. More specifically, cities such as Yunnan, Xinjiang, Hunan, and Sichuan reported the largest number of confirmed HIV cases. Southwestern cities such as Yunnan and Sichuan has more than 100,000 cases in 2018, and southern cities like Guangdong and Henan has more than 50,000 cases. The increasing HIV cases in these rural areas underscores the lack of HIV prevention awareness, which is an educational resource that many people in undeveloped areas lack. Without sufficient funding for schools and teaching materials that could introduce proper sexual education, people in the rural communities are more vulnerable to such diseases. Additionally, the limited transportation options and long distance to care add another layer of difficulty to HIV patients, which further worsens the epidemic in these communities. Therefore, we need to recognize the importance of providing people with proper sex and HIV prevention education, which is a fundamental step towards improving the current situation. To address this issue, China has implemented policies and guidelines to support the HIV/AIDS response, one of which is to enhance people's awareness through AIDS education as part of the school curriculum. The nonprofit organization Changeyear, started in 2006 in Beijing, promotes AIDS education, sexual and health prevention. In fact, in response to the high number of confirmed HIV and AIDS cases in southwestern and southern China, many of the Changeyear offices that cooperate with local government to promote AIDS education are purposefully located in various places such as Yunnan, Sichuan, and Hunan. These areas are mostly underdeveloped or have a lack of proper AIDS education. One of Changeyear's primary strategies to provide AIDS education opportunities is through constructing a love cottage, an environment that functions as both a classroom, a mental health counseling room, or a communal activity room that exposes youth to a thorough understanding of sex and mental health education. The Love Cottage supplies hardware facilities such as computers, auxiliary tables and chairs, therapy sand tables, bookshelves, and more. Additionally, the project aims to provide teachers with professional training guidance, strengthening the formalization of comprehensive AIDS education in the curriculum, and establishing a national sexual health education training platform. Therefore, by building Love Cottage in schools and rural communities, Changer provides professional knowledge and materials that rural communities aren't generally able to acquire. Moved by their positive influence, in May 2022, I established my own nonprofit organization, Ameris Education Foundation, whose sole purpose is to promote education of children in marginalized areas. Changer's accomplishments and charitable works deeply inspired me, even though I'm 7,000 miles away from Beijing. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I wasn't able to travel back to my hometown in China. However, I was still determined to make a difference by utilizing technology and the advantage of the digital environment. As an art student who has a deep interest in architecture and is devoted to designs, I was extremely interested in the Love Cottage project. Fortunately and coincidentally, Changer has started planning to build a Love Cottage in their Beijing office as a model room for visitors. The organization members warmly accepted my request for collaboration. Although this first stage of communication was entirely virtual, we were able to exchange our ideas fairly easily through messaging and phone calls. During our first phone call, the Changer director explained the whole process of building a Love Cottage in the previous projects, which is to turn an unused school classroom into a specialized room for AIDS education. Therefore, building a new Love Cottage in rural communities will not require any additional spaces and resources. To integrate the theme of innovation and the UN sustainability goal, I utilized computer softwares and used sustainable material for the model room. By virtue of the ease of accessing 3D design softwares, the initial process of sketching the position and orientation of fundamental apparatus such as TV, chairs, and presentation board was fairly easy. Thanks to this convenient software, the task of constructing a 3D model was completed in less than a week. The 3D model embraces multiple elements, including modular meeting tables and chairs, a movable TV, therapy sand tables, wall decorations, and a digital display board. During the construction, in considering sustainable goals, Changer and I searched for the resources of materials that produce the least carbon footprint. In the meantime, since the project needed funding, I used social media to broaden my target audience. As a first step, I filmed a 4-minute video introducing my project and presenting its purpose to promote AIDS education. Due to the efficiency and the almost instantaneous communication through social media, the fundraising was completed less than a week, and the amount of donation reaches 100,000 yuan, which is approximately $15,000. Additionally, donors and other supporters expressed significant support for the idea of empowerment through education. This experiment highlighted the expediency and the efficiency of social media in current digital era, underscoring the breadth of new possibilities for education that existed prior to digital age. Furthermore, by building this modular Love Cottage as a prototype, Changer plans to enhance AIDS education awareness by allowing foreign ambassadors to view the possibilities of duplication of this classroom. In fact, there are still many developing countries that needed such assistance. For instance, 33.3 million people are infected or living with HIV globally, of which 22.5 million are in sub-Saharan Africa. This data reflects the significant degree of the need of people in these underdeveloped countries, which clearly indicates that more efforts needs to be done globally. Studies have shown that parents who are infected by HIV can spread the disease to children in their same household, and children whose parents died of HIV and AIDS are either put out of school or not enrolled at all because of financial difficulties. As a result, these children cannot access necessary education or the proper health and sexual information. In order to connect these marginalized areas, We should utilize digital media as a platform to inform more people. The way to conduct a multinational assistance collaboration is through the use of technologies. This will allow a greater number of people to be involved in the implementation and the enhancement of AIDS and AIDS education. Through such international effort, we could all contribute to the betterment of our future generation. In the end, as a younger generation, we should support charitable causes that benefit our culture and society. We should broaden our horizon by examining the need of community and contributing with our best effort. We should unify our endeavor to promote the advancement of our world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, Jessica. To realize that lacking knowledge is an important cause of HIV infection, especially in the rural and underdeveloped areas. Therefore, she established a non-profit organization, Amria's Education Foundation, to promote children's education in such areas. She also designed a 3D finger hut prototype and successfully raised more than enough funds using social media. Wow, so much has been done in her tender age and so much inspirations. Well done, Jessica. Now I would like to invite Ms. Johnson Moreno. She is an award-winning international contemporary arts and art teacher, the founder of Johnson Moreno Art and Design Company and Johnson Moreno Fine Arts, as well as the founder of Filipino Artists in Beijing. Now I give the floor to you, Ms. Moreno.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am truly honored to speak before you today. Let me begin by telling you a short but very meaningful story, and it is all about the chances, the choices, and the changes that I have experienced. First, the changes. My journey with AIDS began in 2011. An art workshop experience with Vietnamese children inflicted with HIV changed my life from then on. I went to Vietnam to find opportunities to showcase my talent in art, and since I was just on my late 20s back then, I was a bit more adventurous. After just a couple of months, I landed on my first international teaching job, and I was set to exhibit my works for a very first solo exhibition. I was in awe. I could not believe that I was given this opportunity very quickly in a foreign land. But until I met wonderful people that I get the chance to be involved in charities. I started teaching at an international school and as well as other art schools. But one school stood out. I was called to teach children inflicted with HIV for Smile Group charity. The children were taking different kinds of pills to help prolong their lives, but seeing the smile on their faces and enthusiasm to learn touched my heart. In the beginning, I was speechless. I could not believe that there were young children suffering from AIDS. I never thought that this emotional experience will
Well, I can see there might be some problem with Ms. Moreno's microphone. Shall we go to the next one and the next speaker? So she will find the time to fix it. Okay. Then next, I would like to invite Mrs. Zhang Yingjun. She is the director of China Youth AIDS Prevention Education Project Office, the founder and the chairman of China Education Foundation. Mrs. Zhang, floor is yours.
The United Nations has made a solemn commitment to end the AIDS pandemic by 2030. However, reduced investment by some governments, the severe impact of COVID-19 pandemic, and the drain of public attention may make this ambitious plan an empty promise. However, there are always responsible organizations and individuals who remain committed and persistent in their efforts to hold the line. Change Education Foundation, led by me and my partners, is such an organization and such a group of people. Thanks to these people who have always dedicated themselves quietly to the cause of ending AIDS, the challenging promise may be fulfilled. In the era of information technology, innovative advancement and data are the confidence booster for us to hold our ground. Change Education Foundation has been active in 1,243 schools and broad communities in 29 provinces, cities, and autonomous regions in China, conducting education on AIDS prevention and treatment, sexual health, traditional culture, mental health, and philosophy. After near 20 years of practical exploration and preventing AIDS through sex education initiated by Change has been played as a social vaccine by UNAIDS. It has been held as a pioneering initiative to prevent AIDS by tightening the tap from upstream, the benefits of which has extended to hundreds of millions of teenagers and women within and beyond China in the help of powerful media resources. Change Education Foundation becomes the most influential 5A non-governmental organization in the field of AIDS prevention and education in China. Thanks to the extensive and successful application of this innovative model, this program has radiated benefits to women and children in North America and the United States, especially with the Chinese families and children there. Because of this, my organization and myself have been given the Honorable International Women and Children Education Achievement Award by American Chinese United Association, ACUA, during the Chinese New Year in 2023. The successful practice of our innovative model of preventing AIDS through sex education fills us with confidence to keep striving for AIDS prevention and realize the goal of ending AIDS within and beyond China by 2030. Innovation and data have become the multiplier of our effectiveness in ending AIDS. With education, this information era, the rich data connecting together with the fast information dissemination methods have greatly facilitated education charity organizations like us. We use big data to obtain the latest AIDS infection information and then combine it with relevant medical development, so we may analyze infection pathways and patient and develop the best method to prevent and fight against AIDS. Using multiple powerful online meeting applications such as Tencent Meeting and Zoom, we broadcast thousands of live online courses and short video every year, enabled almost 2 billion people to access scientific AIDS prevention knowledge. Public figures with hundreds of millions of followers, such as Zhongnan San, an outstanding representative of medical practitioners, Wu Zhonyu, an expert from the CDC, and famous presenters and celebrities such as Kang Hui, Zhu Xun, Wan Qian act as now ambassadors of change and call on the fight against AIDS in mainstream media. With the powerful influence generated by data and information technology, millions of teenagers have been informed of the ABC principle of AIDS prevention. Abstinence be faithful tandem, which helps them smoothly tide over their puberty. Innovation and data have become a multiplier of our capacity to raise resources for ending AIDS. We made full use of China's advanced platform economy and world-leading online payment tools for collecting donations. We also spare no efforts to tell stories of good causes, spreading the concept of charity, promoting Now Renai. In addition, we scale up charity fundraising by taking part in the world's largest online charity festival, 99 Tencent Charity Day, and normalize charity fundraising by collaborating with public benefits platforms operated by Alipay and TikTok. Online fundraising had enabled every year more than 3 million people to donate through internet, many little mechanical. This provides a stable financial support for our activities. Among the millions of donors, 10 children from Dalian, San Valley, Huaxia School, such as Liu Junhe, Wang Guimin, and Zhong Linjun, donated 5,180 yuan, about $745 US of pocket money they got during Chinese New Year's. Innovation and data also act as an adhesive that connects us to the world in the battle against AIDS. While the 3 years epidemic hindered our international exchange and cooperation, digital technology made up the losses by facilitating online communications. In 2022, Online Change organized the 3 online side events at the UN conference. The side events on the themes of economic empowerment of vulnerable women and youngs, and ending AIDS by 2013, respectively, during the 66th sessions of the UN Commission on the Status of Women around great repercussions from home and abroad. More than 220 experts and scholars, representatives of international organizations and NGOs, and youth volunteers from all over the world attended the conference online, discussed about topics such as sex education and AIDS prevention for youth, and economic rights and interests of women. This year, in addition to participating in important international conference and organization, more social benefits activities, Ginger plans to establish the global platform aiming at exchange experience and setting up cooperation with international organizations, governments, and enterprises who are acting in the field of AIDS prevention and sex education, and to integrate administrative, material, and education resources with the help of information technology, all to contribute to realizing the goal of ending AIDS by 2013. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for your speech, Mrs. Zhang. We can see that the key word of what Ginger Education Foundation has been doing is prevention. To prevent HIV infection is the most effective way to fight against AIDS. And they keep exploring new ways to disseminate charity spirit, spread knowledge, and transmit love in the society, making use of the latest information technology. That's inspiring. Thank you again, Mrs. Zhang. So let's have a look whether Miss Moreno is back. Miss Moreno?
Yes, sorry about that. Let me again begin from the beginning of my story. This is about my chances, the choices, and the changes that I have experienced. The changes. My journey with AIDS began in 2011, an art workshop experience with Vietnamese children inflicted with HIV changed my life forever. I went to Vietnam to find opportunities to showcase my talent in art, and since I was just on my late 20s back then, I was a bit more adventurous. After just a couple of months, I landed on my first solo exhibition and first international teaching job. I was in awe. I could not believe that I was given this opportunity very quickly in a foreign land. But until I met wonderful people that I get the chance to be involved in charities. I started teaching in an international school and other art schools. But one school stood out. I was called to teach children inflicted with HIV for Smile Group charity. The children were taking different kinds of pills to help prolong their lives, but seeing the smile on their faces and enthusiasm to learn touched my heart. In the beginning, I was speechless and could not believe that there were young children suffering from AIDS. I never thought that this emotional experience would chase me after just 12 years. 12 years later, I am bestowed with a greater responsibility to help end AIDS through creating awareness and educating the younger generation using today's digital platform. Children from all over the world should be able to experience the joy, love, care, and happiness through colors and creativity. Many can reach out, and yet only so few are willing to devote themselves into this endeavor. Education is the best area to start implementing change. I am a mother who is protective of her children, an experienced educator, yet still learning each day, a global woman, but grounded by my roots, and most of all, I am a highly motivated artist and a renewed person. Without hesitations, I will act now. Now that I become more aware that a lot of women are still left behind and deprived of the basic skills that they must acquire. How are we going to maximize women's and young girls' growth potentials? Firstly, we must focus on our heart's true desires. I am a female artist, but only few female artists are dominating the art world until this day. And I know that this day will change. And more women can excel and have equal opportunities and exposure in the realm of art. We have what it takes to close the gap and shine a bright light filled with positivity. Women possess special gifts and can work in harmony. We are more equipped now than ever. And through the Qing'ai Education Foundation here in China, I would like to share and use my expertise and experiences to help build a nurturing, loving, and caring foundation to support children and women all over the world of different ethnic background, religion, age, and ideology. Now for the choices. Seeing the pandemic's aftermath, I pledged to myself to voluntarily get involved in helping the unprivileged. I saw the needs for significant and meaningful projects such as conducting art workshops in relation to our common goals to ultimately end AIDS in 2030. There is only one language for me, and that is understood by everyone. And that is the language of love. I love art, and I will turn this love and passion into a shining glory to permeate in the hearts of HIV-inflicted children across the globe. In my country, the Philippines, accessibility to internet is still a work in progress. There is poverty everywhere. Some children go to school without proper shoes, but most of them walk miles on unpaved roads just to get access to education. And the perception of education for them is different from ours, who have experienced international education. For them, literacy is everything. For us, there's so much more than literacy. For a developing country like the Philippines, poor families are more focused on their daily necessities like food. HIV or AIDS infection in the Philippines might be low but growing fast. The Philippines has one of the lowest rates of infection, yet has one of the fastest growing number of cases worldwide. The Philippines is one of the 7 countries with growth in number of cases of over 25% from 2001 to 2009. Now for the change. Women are an integral part of our society, and I am here to help unveil the hidden treasures and keys to success to change our lives for the better. We will align our goals to the highest purpose and find order in it, because we women can lead and at the same time nurture. We need tangible and sustainable solutions. We will see ourselves in ways we've never seen before because we are diligent, and we will succeed in ending AIDS in 2030. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Rare. Indeed, Women are the focus of each family. When they are motivated and enabled, the whole society will be lighted with hope. From Ms. Moreno, we learned that with art, we can also achieve that. Next, we have Madame Colette Meng. Mrs. Meng is the CEO of Aixing Biopharma Incorporated, the president of American Center for Asian Students, the executive director of American Chinese United Association, and the deputy curator of American Chinese Museum. She joined us from City of Philadelphia. Mrs. Meng, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here today to discuss a topic that is of great importance to us all, ending the HIV epidemic. HIV has been with us for more than 3 decades. It is a virus that has impacted millions of people worldwide and continue to do so. HIV is a virus that attacks the immune system, leading to AIDS, a condition that can be fatal if left untreated. Despite significant progress in the prevention and the treatment of HIV, millions of people continue to be infected with the virus every year, particularly in low and middle income countries. But the good news is that we have the tools and knowledge to bring an end to this epidemic. So what we can do to end the HIV epidemic? The answer is multifaceted, but there's several key strategies that we can adopt. Firstly, we need to focus on prevention. This includes promoting safe sex practice, such as use condoms, and the increased access to pre-exposure prophylaxis for people who are at high risk of HIV infection. We also needed to address the social and economic factors that contribute to the spread of HIV, such as poverty, stigma, and discrimination. Secondly, we need to ensure that everyone who's living with HIV has access to effective treatment. Antiretrovirus therapies, we call ART, can suppress the virus quite effectively and preventing the development of AIDS, but only if people have access to these life-saving medications. We need to work toward universal access to ART, particularly in low and middle income countries where access to healthcare is limited. I would like to share a few slides with you. The ambitious 95-95-95 strategy was announced by UNAIDS in 2014, aiming to end the AIDS epidemic by 2030 by achieving 95 diagnosed among all people living with HIV, 95% on antiretrovirus therapy among diagnosed, and 95% virally suppressed among treated. Through the U.S. President's emergency plan for AIDS relief, the U.S. government has invested over $100 billion in the global HIV/AIDS response since 2003, the largest commitment by any nation to address a single disease in history, saving 25 million lives, preventing millions of HIV infections, and accelerating progress toward controlling the global HIV/AIDS pandemic in more than 50 countries. Between 2000 to 2019, data shows new HIV infections fell by 39%, and HIV-related deaths fell by 51%, with 15.3 million lives saved due to ART. Globally, only 68%, around 26 million of the 38 million people living with HIV in 2020 will receive ART. Due to advancement in ART, HIV/AIDS is now not an incurable disease like a cancer. it becomes a chronic disease. We see subtle but cumulative toxicity of ART, such as persistent inflammation and immune dysfunction, and exists comorbidity, including neuro-HIV, cardiovascular disease, nephropathy, clinical aging, and the overabundant healthcare system. HIV still has viral persistence with ART. Here are some potential strategies to cure HIV. They are, for example, shock and kill, broad neutralization antibodies, stem cell or T cell transplantation, and gene editing. One of the most promising new technology in gene editing is CRISPR-Cas. It is currently one of the most exciting developments in HIV research. This technology allows the scientists precisely edit the DNA in live organism, which has the potential to revolutionize HIV treatments and prevention. CRISPR-Cas can result in eradication of HIV provirus. In 2020, 2 female scientists earned a Nobel Prize in chemistry for their innovation of novel CRISPR-Cas technology, also known as a magic knife for DNA surgeons. Researchers showed that the CRISPR system can home in on and cut specific DNA, knocking out a gene or enabling part of it to be replaced by substitute DNA. Researchers are exploring the potential of CRISPR-Cas to treat HIV in several ways. One approach is to edit the genomes of immune cells, such as T cells, to make them resist to HIV infection. Researchers have already used CRISPR-Cas to edit the CCR5 genes, which code for a protein that HIV to enter cells. By disabling the CCR5 genes, scientists can potentially make immune cell resistant to HIV infection. Another possible use of CRISPR-Cas in HIV treatment is to target and eliminate the virus from infective cells. Researchers have used the CRISPR-Cas to locate and cut out HIV DNA from infected cells, potentially eliminate the virus from the body. While these approaches are still in early stage of development, the potential of CRISPR-Cas in the treatment of HIV is an exciting area of research that's generating a lot of interest in scientific communities. Our group of scientists are the first to use CRISPR-Cas eradication of HIV provirus in culture discs in 2014, and then translated it to HIV-infected humanized mice in 2017. This multiplexed editing will not only suppress HIV transcription, but also deleting HIV structural functional genes to abolish HIV replication. In 2020, CRISPR-based editing was used to treat SIV in monkeys. In 2021, FDA approved the first clinical trial investigating CRISPR genes editing as an HIV cure. However, while CRISPR-Cas is a promising development for HIV cure, one of the main challenges remains the target-specific delivery in vivo to HIV persistent latent cells. Our faculty and scientist group are working on ways to improve HIV eradication effective and specificity, such as via adeno-associated virus, we call AAV, nanoparticles, and a lentiviral-like particle. At the same time, to enhance the medicinal property and the therapeutic effect more effectively, our chief science and research team discovered Axin-21. It's a type of nucleotide. Axin-21 increased the expression of CRISPR-Cas9 for better editing efficiency. It's a booster that could also be used for protein expression, protein secretion, antibody production, mRNA vaccines, and much, much more. We received its patent approval last month and are working tirelessly to bring this innovative technology to pharmaceutical industry, medicine, and healthcare. Lastly, among all scientific improvements, we needed to working toward a reducing stigma and discrimination toward people living with HIV. Stigma and discrimination can prevent people from accessing HIV testing and treatment, and it can have a profound impact on their physical and mental health. We need to create a supportive and inclusive environment where people living with HIV can thrive without fear of discrimination. In conclusion, ending the HIV epidemic is a complex and a challenging task, but it is achievable if we work together and adopt a comprehensive approach that focuses on prevention, treatment, research, and the reducing stigma and discrimination. We need to invest in research and the development of new HIV prevention and treatment strategies. This including developing vaccine, new medicine, new drugs, and the innovative approaches to HIV prevention and treatments. The development of new technologies, such as CRISPR-Cas and Axin-21, give us hope that we can one day find a cure for HIV. Let us commit to ourselves to this goal and work toward a world where everyone can live free from HIV. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Long. With solid figures, he demonstrated efforts and achievements people made to prevent and cure AIDS. This brings us hope and gives us confidence that human beings will finally be the winner of the war against AIDS. Well, now I can see there will be a few minutes left after all the speeches. So if any audience has any questions for our speakers, please type it on the chat area. And please appoint a speaker to answer. Thank you. Last but not the least, there is Madame Yang Yan. She is the mother and the president of Shenzhen Zhengqiankun Culture Education Technology Company Limited. Today, she will present her speeches via a video. Here it comes.
大家好，我是一名亲爱基金会的爱心妈妈杨燕，很高兴可在此视频分享自己数字时代有爱无爱的一些感悟。抓住数字时代，聚焦流量引擎，我将公益搬上直播，走出一条以流量传播正能量的新道路。我所敬重和追随的亲爱基金会，长期以终结人类艾滋病大流行为重要使命。 为依托该平台践行自己奉献社会的爱心，我决定充分发挥自己的特长，通过直播和短视频宣传分享艾滋病预防的相关知识，同时以直播公益形式汇聚社会力量，为艾滋病患者带来财力和物力上的支持。去年11月， 亲爱基金会张银俊理事长以视频连麦做客直播间，讲述亲爱17年经历和慈善的力量，感染直播间2万多人。受张理事长大爱发声的影响，直播间中奖的观众主动将奖品奖金全部捐给了亲爱工程。同年12月，2016感动中国10大人物之一，中国唯一一所艾滋病患儿学校0分红丝带学校校长郭小平老师也通过视频做客直播间。我们了解到，现在艾滋病通过宣传教育、药物控制、人文关怀，已将对人类的危害降至较低水平，并且有望于2030年终结全球大流行。这一普及让线上受众大为振奋，并通过他们在较大范围改变了人们谈爱色变的偏见。直播粉丝团以打赏自发筹款，共计筹集3万多元爱心款，所得款项悉数捐予0分红丝带的艾滋病患儿。除了以直播行公益外，我们还在亲爱基金会支持下，自2021年9月份开始，在中国最大的互联网公益筹款节99公益日，发动身边人汇聚500多人次参与了公众捐款，最终筹善款80多万元。我将公益与直播结合，至今累计直播了100多场，200多个小时，受众超300万人次，各平台短视频推送200多条。视频播放量达上千万，更多的亲友和社会人士被感染，纷纷加入我们的慈善公益之路，与我一起传播正能量。我先生刘辉非常支持我的公益慈善事业，为我的直播公益提供了大量财力、人力和物力的帮助。同时，我们还以身作则，仅去年就捐款达2000多万元，今年还将捐款超过3000万元，并且决定将筹办的郑乾坤文化教育课程营收的30%用于艾滋病防治等慈善事业。数据时代为我们青年人奉献爱心提供了更广阔的舞台。我将继续通过直播加公益的创新形式，建立多账号，打通全平台，唤起更多人的良知，为全球终结艾滋病做出更大的贡献。感谢大家。
Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Yang. She has been a faithful supporter of Ping'an Education Foundation. In this digital age, she found her way in the broadcast room, using modern communication channels to advocate charity, promote good causes, and disseminate love. There's a typical example echoing the theme of our forum today. Well, now it's all our speakers. I see there's still a couple of minutes left before the question. I guess we were not enough with Maria singing, right? So, Maria, may I invite you to sing again for us, please?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much. And thanks to all our wonderful audience that are here to see the wonderful program today. I want to say thanks to Qinghai, the wonderful charity she has been doing around the world, and these wonderful people that are doing their own contribution to change this kids' life. And I believe, as from my speech I said just now, from the First Lady of China, if we can follow her footsteps, we can learn from her, the big love she has, the support she has for the kids. I believe the world will be a better place for all those kids or those who are affected with the HIV. If I arrive here, there is a song just now I quote on my speech that's saying that there are women who said women cannot do what men can do, who said women are not as good as men. In Chinese, they said, Sheisho Nizuburu Nan. So all my audience today, I want to teach you today a little Chinese on this our platform. It's a speech, but also you should learn something that you'll take. Sheisho Nizuburu Nan is what I translate just now. I'm going to do shots of that song, and it's from Yunnan in Henan, a province called the North. By the North is I call it Yuchi. So I'm going to sing a little bit of it. I hope all the women in the world, all the little girl, the big women, everyone will be appreciated. And also to all the men are doing great job to help the world. This song is for all of you. It goes like this. 刘大搁浅的花，梨在边，谁说女子向情深？男子打枪讨边关，女子纺织在家园。白天组装的，夜晚来方便，不犯作业，心情不很干。将士们在那流河吃夜闯，你要是不相信啊，就往那线上看，他们的蛇和我还有一个神，千人万险都是他们两
Great, Maria. Beautiful.
Thank you.
For the people who has been seeing a animation film from Hollywood some years ago called Mulan, that is Hua Mulan, a heroine of Chinese history. And this piece is about her and what she told everybody, that who said women is not as good as men. Thank you. Now, there's a couple of minutes left before I conclude the forum. So I can see there are questions coming in. And the first question is for Mrs. Zhang Yingjun. Mrs. Zhang, in recent years, Kinger Education Foundation has held several national symposiums on World AIDS Day, playing an important role in bringing all parties together to promote the work of AIDS prevention. Are there any new ideas for this year's World AIDS Day publicity activities? Mrs. Zhang, could you answer this question, please?
谢谢这个提问啊，谢谢这个谁提的提问还很专业啊。是的，因为我们亲爱基金会是连续这些年10来年，我们连续举办了6届中国青少年艾滋病防治教育座谈会，包括2021年我们是同全国政协一同举办的。我们连续6届呢是在政协和在政协礼堂100多名国家部委的领导和业内的专家出席会议，共商抗艾的大计，主要是做政策的倡导。从去年开始呢，我们想改变这种方式，和专业团队一起策划了主题为“因爱而动，共享健康”的系列活动。我们准备在天安门、长城举行“因爱而动”第35届世界艾滋病日中国大学生携手终结艾滋病行动倡议的启动仪式。发布了全球大学生共同终结艾滋病的行动倡议，同时呢，以年轻人喜闻乐见的街舞、快闪等艺术形式在网上传播，增加活动的影响力和感召力。该项活动因疫情呢，被这个延迟，就去年12月1号艾滋病日，我们这个活动没举办成。那么今年呢，我们将延续这一创意和思路，我们会提前策划，尽力激发全球青少年的积极性和创造性，为终结艾滋病发挥作用。
Thank you very much, Mrs. Zhang. So our next question is for Maria. Ms. Cabo, thanks for sharing your experience with the children of the Red Ribbon School in Linfen, Shanxi. I wonder, are there any NGOs like Kinger Education Foundation working on AIDS prevention and treatment in your country? And how do they work? Could you tell something about this, Maria?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to thank everyone for inviting me in this forum. In my country, Sierra Leone, we don't have a local charity like Chanjie and the wonderful job she's doing as a non-government. We have a lot of different charities, but they are from outside. For example, like the UNICEF, NGOs, we have the AHF, we have some fund that is coming from different international countries, and also we have global fund that are sending aid to the country, direct to the hospital to fund. But as a goodwill ambassador, I hope Changjie Foundation will increase or will try to expand their hands to Africa, especially in my country, Sierra Leone. But for now, we don't have any local like Changjie Foundation. So I want to thank her, and I want to thank all the team, and I want to thank all the people that have been supporting her and supporting these kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this with us, Maria. China would also like to extend its activities to Africa and benefit more people. Let us working together for this. Let me have a look at the next question. Okay, next, we would like to invite Jessica to answer this question. Miss Lee, we have seen reports in the Chinese media about your saying that middle school students can also do their best to contribute to the society in their own way. You are studying in the United States. Would you please introduce us about whether your Chinese friends in the States are as enthusiastic about charity work as you are? And how do they participate in that? Jessica, we also want to know this.
Okay, thank you for asking. So it's such a great honor for me to contribute to society through this opportunity to cooperate with Change Year. So I think no matter how old we are, we're still consciously helping the society and the environment we live in. And I don't think I'm the exception. So I got a lot of friends. And when I got the notice from cooperate with Change Year in May last year, I was very excited to share this very meaningful event with my friends. And after listening to what I was doing, my friends also expressed their idea and support. They shared some of their inspirations with me and some of the elements, including small details of the logo design of my nonprofit organization, Amaris. And they have enriched my source of inspirations and are my biggest supporters. And I'm grateful for their help with my project. In my heart, they are so outstanding and loving. And I believe that our younger generations are the future of our society. So we'll do more for the society together, and the society will definitely become better and better because of our effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. We are so pleased to know that Chinese youth in the US are helpful and caring from their early age. That's how we pass on love generation to generation. Thank you. Now we have another question that is for Mrs. Zhang Yingjun again. Just now, Chairman Zhang introduced that China Education Foundation has made very practical contributions to help achieve the global goal of ending AIDS with the help of innovation and data. May I ask Chairman Zhang, what specific ideas do you have for promoting Chinese charity projects to worldwide countries? Mrs. Zhang, could you briefly tell us about that?
那
Mrs.
我
Zhang,
回答中文吧，是周航翻译英文吧，还是谁
OK.
那谢谢你的提问啊，我谢谢，这是刚才谁提的？我们近几年虽然为全球爱防事业做了一些，但受这个疫情的影响，好多工作没有能有效的展开。今年呢，2023年，我们这个不仅在国际会议上有我们的身影，不光是线上哈，我们也要更多在线下。 更要积极主动参与全球治理，在国际人道主义援助、国际人文交流、国际减贫、国际扫盲等领域要有亲爱的足迹。今年我们还将筹备举办这个第3届的中非经贸合作论坛，就是亲爱的分论坛，探讨落地支持非洲妇女儿童事业的发展，这个充分调动来华的留学生的积极性，重点在中国高校中招募来自非洲、拉丁美洲等艾滋病感染率较高的地区的留学生。我们会教授他们防艾的知识和宣传技巧，也向他们捐赠翻译制作的视频课程，为他们回国开展艾滋病防治教育工作提供帮助。
Okay, so I will just briefly translate this. Thank you for your question. Although we have done some work in recent years, due to the impact of the pandemic, a lot of work has not been carried out effectively. In 2023, we will not only have our presence at the international conferences, but also actively participate in global governance and actively engage ourselves in humanitarian aid, cultural exchanges, poverty reduction, and the elimination of illiteracy. And this year, we are also prepared to hold the Ginger Sub-Forum of the 3rd China-Africa Economic and Trade Cooperation Forum to discuss how to support the development of African women and children. We will fully mobilize the enthusiasm of international students in China, which will focus on recruiting students from Africa and Latin America in Chinese universities, especially those who are from areas with a high HIV infection rate. We will teach them knowledge on AIDS prevention and publicity skills, and we will offer them video courses for free, all to help them carry out AIDS prevention and education work when they return to their motherland. So thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Zhang. I can see you have great plans. It's great to hear that Ginger will share this successful experience to the rest of the world and will benefit all people in need. So I would like to conclude this forum. So ending AIDS by 2030 is a tough challenge. The new technologies provide new opportunities in this digital age. More important, they are determined people who refuse to make a concession. They bring their creativity into full play, open up new routes to fight and prevent AIDS. Our speakers today are representatives of them. I would like to thank all speakers for sharing their inspirable experience with us. And I believe that with the joint effort of people around the world, the goal of ending AIDS by 2030 is achievable. Here, I will conclude this forum. I would like to thank all the audience and wish you a very nice day. Thank you.